What's up, fantasy managers? Before we draft, we want to know who is washed up or who has fuel left in the tank. Imagine drafting a player who was washed up because you didn't watch this video. You could kiss your championship goodbye. I will discuss sticky metrics for 6 players and determine if they are washed up. I know you're interested, so stick around for 7 seconds. All right, over these 6 players, I made some tables, I made some notes. I'm going to show you this research right now. Now, the first person I want to discuss is Calvin Ridley. He'll be 30 at the start of the season. After a year at the racetrack in 2022, Ridley returned and was 27th, then 36th in points per game. A lot of hype, but a lot of disappointment. That's actually how my wife starts off every story about me. But the last 2 seasons, he's been top 20 in targets, both seasons, 40th or higher in yards per route run. His win rate versus man shows trouble, like with the separation a little bit. But I didn't need to do a real deep dive on Ridley because the last 2 seasons don't show a regression, but poor play. Some stats did improve, like number 1 in air yards, 4th in air yard share, 5th in ADOT, and 3rd in deep targets, but bottom 80 in catchable target rate. It appears like he needs an accurate quarterback, which he hasn't had since Matt Ryan. If you believe Cam Ward is the truth, then roll your dice on Ridley. He isn't washed up. He just needs a quarterback to make accurate, tight throws. And up next is Adam Thielen. Thielen will be 35 years old at the start of the season. So 225 points per game is top 20 in fantasy scoring. Players over 32 years old have hit this mark 5 times. 3 times by Larry Fitzgerald, Julian Edelman, and then Adam Thielen in 2023. In 2023, Thielen was wide receiver 17 in points, but was 25th in points per game. Started the year strong, but he was wide receiver 8 until week 10. He had no competition and was reliable for a rookie quarterback. He was number 1 for snaps in the slot, easy PPR points, but Thielen got worn out at the end of the year and finished wide receiver 43 weeks 11 through 18. In 2024, missed 7 games due to hamstring and averaged 14 points a game, which was 27th best. His expected fantasy points per game dropped from 22nd to 39th overall. His target share in general was 25% and his red zone share 36% in 2023. Then in 2024, his general target share was 20% and red zone share 16%. So both dropped tremendously. His competition now is top 10 pick T-Mac, Jalen Coker, and Hunter Renfrow. When Hunter Renfrow was healthy, he was 9th in snaps in the slot and averaged 15 points per game. We've seen the best of Thielen. He is now washed up. Next up is Tyreek Hill, and as you can see on this graph, nothing but red, so it doesn't look good, right? Tyreek Hill was wide receiver 2 in points per game in 2023, but was wide receiver 29th in points per game in 2024. He received 50 less targets in 2024. His yards per route run went from 1st to 38th, but his win rate versus man coverage is still top 20, and his targets versus man is still top 10. Also, his separation has remained the same at 3.3 versus defenders, but not versus plus-size models, if you know what I mean. But that is a good length for wide receivers. It doesn't appear he's washed up at 31 years old, but it's more of his offense has changed. The Dolphins' offensive line was 28th in pass block, win rate, and 26th in run blocking. Tua had the shortest time to throw in the league. The Dolphins don't want this guy to get tackled and throw out gang signs again. So it was a quick passes to Davon Achane, who had 87 targets, and Jonnu Smith, who had 111 targets on the season. Nothing is showing Mike McDaniels will go back to create deep plays for Hill. Left tackle Teron Armstead retired. He was their best lineman. Their interior line wasn't worth a damn, but they did draft a 6'4", 324-pounder in the 2nd round. And then in free agency, though, they picked up right guard James Daniel with a 66.5 pass blocking grade and tackle Larry Borom with a 56.2 pass blocking grade. I mean, what the hell is happening in Miami? What I see is the Dolphins didn't fix their offensive line, and it appears it will be short passing all season again. Tyreek Hill isn't washed up, but he probably isn't in the right system anymore. I want to take a second. If you're enjoying the information in this video, then please hit the subscribe, press the like. We have reached our goal of 2,000, and now our new goal is 2,500 before the season starts. Anything will help the channel, and we appreciate all you zoners out there. Thank you for watching. And up next, we got the famous Mr. Folges, Cooper Kupp. This one's probably going to be a little lengthy one to talk about, to discuss, because we all want to know, right? I believe we literally saw him turn washed up in week 15. Kupp was wide receiver 5 in points per game with 9 games played heading into week 14, averaging 18.4 points per game. Kupp and Puka Nacua both had injuries and both returned in week 8. From week 8 to week 14, Kupp had 4 20-point games to Nacua's 3 games. But when the fantasy playoffs started, he dropped outside wide receiver 10, scored 9 points total between weeks 15 and 17, and he looked bad. As bad as 2 girls, 1 cup video. He sat out in week 18, but if we looked into the NFL playoffs, 3.9 points versus the Vikings and 11 points versus the Eagles. 11 points isn't the worst, but it's not winning championships, especially when Nacua scored 15 points versus the Eagles. His win rate versus man dropped from 16th best in 2023 to 70th in 2024. Last 2 seasons, he has been outside 30th in yards per route run. This drop-off has been building. He also isn't healthy. You could chalk that up to old age, washed up, or just bad luck. But Kupp has missed close to 18 games the last 3 seasons. The dude has weak ankles, man, and he has missed 10 games because of his ankle sprains. One of the best route runners in the last decade is losing that skill. In 2024, since the Bills game in week 14, his separation score was 89th. He can't get open, and Stanford can't get him the ball anymore. Now he is a number 2 wide receiver for a Seattle team who fired the offensive coordinator for throwing the ball too damn much. And there's a chance he will get moved to the outside role while JSN works the slot. He is by far washed up. Up next is Stefon Diggs, and you know he loves that pink candy. The wide receiver 1 is wide open for the Patriots. Kyle Williams is a wide receiver 2 currently. Diggs has always had the talent to demand targets. He spends a lot of time in the slot, about 45% of the time, and he was playing damn good last season too. He was on track for 136 targets and 99 receptions in the year. Good, but bad for Diggs standards. It would have been his fewest targets since 2019 and fewest receptions since 2017, but he still would have had the top 12 most targets. 2020 through 2023, he was top 6 each year in targets. Talent demands targets. And still though, during weeks 1 through 8, he was wide receiver 8 with a target share that was 32nd best in the league, which means he was efficient when he got the ball. He looked like a possible league winner until he tore his ACL, and he tore it at the age of 30. I know Jordy Nelson tore his ACL at age 30, played the following year, and ended the season as wide receiver 2, but he had Aaron Rodgers, who was the number 1 scoring quarterback that year. Diggs will have a second-year quarterback, Drake May. His deep targets a game decreased the lowest it's been since 2019, and his ADOT was 74th, so it appears his plays closer to the line of scrimmage now. He is the number 1 wide receiver for the Patriots, but the 150 target, 10 touchdown years are over. The cards are stacked against him this year to have one of the worst years in his career. He will be lucky to be a top 24 wide receiver. Now I'm real excited to talk about this guy, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of vomit in the comments, but hey, I'm here for it. Deebo Samuel. Each year on this very channel, you hear, don't draft Deebo Samuel. Don't trade for Deebo Samuel. Don't tell him how much he got on his 40, homie. But not this year. Not a lot of competition on wide receiver 2 in Washington. They didn't draft a wide receiver until the 4th round, so the Commanders appear confident in what they have. Dan Quinn is a run-heavy coach. They ran 5th most per play in 2024, and Deebo can play a role in the running game. Deebo went from 12th in yards per route run to 55th in 2024. That went from great to freaking pathetic. He also struggles with winning routes. But here's the thing about Deebo. Deebo is finally at the correct ADP. He is currently wide receiver 40. In 2024, he was wide receiver 15. And before that, wide receiver 17 in 2023. Those were his ADPs. After the 2021 breakout, he has been nothing more than a wide receiver 2 in San Francisco. Don't get it twisted, yo. He's been second in team receptions each year following 2021 season. Only 1 season with a top 12 finish since 2021. But in 2024, Deebo averaged 8.4 yards after catch, which is 2.3 yards over expected per attempt. Both of those stats are top 10 for wide receivers, which means he is still one of the best in the league in gaining more than what the defense is giving him. And that has always been Deebo's specialty. Hard to tackle, broken tackles, juke, evade, yards after the catch, all that stuff. And he was still elite in those categories last season. Plus, he gets rushing touchdowns, and he has a career high in a season of 8 rushing touchdowns. What I said earlier, Quinn's going to run the ball. He could be used in the running game around the goal line. Deebo has never been a 100 receptions guy. His career high is 77. The wide receiver 2 last year for the Commanders had 64 targets on a run-heavy team. I expect Samuel to get around 70 to 80 targets with a lot of design plays in receiving and rushing. He's still difficult to tackle, but he is a boom or bust player most weeks, and he always has been. And he needs rushing touchdowns to be top 15 wide receiver. But now his ADP is finally outside top 4 rounds. He has great value this year. He is not washed up just yet. All right, we made it to the end. Thank you for watching. Now you know which players are washed up. Now you know which players you can still draft and what players have great value. I believe this information will help you out in Dynasty and Redraft League. So I'm glad you watched it. I'm glad to be done talking because my throat is killing me right now. If you guys haven't noticed, it's hoarse. I am a hoarse. If you guys want to keep watching us, we got a video that we did on Friday. It's our live video. And we did on the quarterback rankings, top 12 quarterback rankings. One of my quarterbacks I put in there, Tyler, laughed at me. He laughed at me. He made fun of me. How dare he? But you can watch it by just clicking here. You can see when he was mocking me. I will talk to you guys in that video. You guys take care, all right? Deuces.